I saw a minimum of 100 paintings, the same exact pose of Jesus and Mary, and I'm like, cool, I can do a joke about airplanes if I want to, and it won't be as repetitive as those Jesus and Mary paintings.
Yeah. No, he was popular.
Yeah, was he? What a hot
popular.
take.
Yeah,
Jesus was popular.
Yeah. Now, are you from New York?
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought that, but I wasn't 100%.
But here's what's interesting, and I want to be really clear in case any listener gets up in arms about this. I anytime I say I'm a New Yorker and someone goes, "Oh, so you're from Manhattan?" I go, "No, I'm from 30 minutes outside of Manhattan." They go, "Oh, so you're from New York State? You're not from New York?" I'm like, "No, New York is the state.
Yeah,
I'm not from New York City."
Yeah,
and that always kind of gives people a ride.
Where in New York are you from?
Westchester.
Westchester.
Do you know where that is?
I've heard the name. I don't know if I've been there.
I mean, it's a suburb. If you've been to a suburb, you nailed it.
Yeah.
The one funny thing I'll say about Westchester is that if you watch television shows and movies and things like that, it's got a particular look. You'll start spotting it everywhere. Like once I introduced my fiance's name is Jess. Once I introduced Jess to what it looks like, she spots it in shows now. She goes, "Does this show take place in Westchester, New York?" Or
really?
what it's called in filming locations is Hudson River Valley.
Yeah, now that is a famous. I've heard of that. And what does it look like, Westchester?
Oh, it's just it's got an energy. It's with the trees changing colors and it's very particular. It's hard to explain it. Literally after the pod, I'll just take you through a spreadsheet slideshow where I'll just be like, I'll just show you a spreadsheet if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to see your spreadsheets.
By the way, before we keep going, I do want to introduce the tea because we haven't done that yet.
Okay.
What we are drinking is Harney & Sons Paris tea. So this is a take on a Paris breakfast tea. Okay. It's a black tea. It brews at 212. I would say steep it for 5 minutes. Be careful on over steeping with black teas because it'll get super caffeinated. But I feel like you like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a big, nice cup, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Ginsburg.
Have you tried your tea yet, Arnie? Do you like it?
I've tried it multiple times. I do. What do you think?
That's good. I like that a lot.
I like that too.
Yeah. I'm into it.
I think you brewed it very nicely.
I try so hard. Yeah. and I so appreciate it. And I love that you like the RBG mug. I try and mix it up mug-wise. I don't know how many people who watch this pay attention to that, but I try and mix it up.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
I try and keep it all going strong.
How's my posture? Does this bad for camera? You don't have to be nice. You can just say, no, change it. That's good. All right.
Here's the thing. Most people, I think, listen. And so I don't know that they know. For those that are listening, not watching, he has the perfect posture. He's incredibly well built. Very handsome guy.
That's right. That's true.
You can kind of do whatever you want. I find that, I had a guest come on here once who asked ahead of time. They were like, "Hey, is there any homework I need to do?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Homework? What did you? No." I was like, "Yeah, here's a math minute. I need you to go back, do this, time it, tell me how many problems you got through, honor code." Did you ever do math minutes, or is that?
So here's a weird thing about me is I still do math homework.
What?
I do it at night. Yeah, I do math problems every night. And I drink tea when I'm doing it.
Okay, hold on. What algebra, geometry?
Algebra, pre-cal, that sort of stuff.
Okay, and you do it?
It's relaxing for me. Yeah. So right now I'm working on trinomials and a lot of factoring trinomials. Remember FOIL?
Yes.
Yes, similar to that, maybe with polynomials and stuff like that. So factoring those. You're looking at me like I'm a psychopath.
No. I don't think you're a psycho. It's like when I want to relax, I watch TV.
Yeah.
When you want to relax, you do math.
I drink tea, I put on some jazz, and then I do math problems.
What jazz?
I like slow, cool jazz.
Cool jazz. That's the era you're into.
Yeah. I'm into very I love even Stan Getz.
Sure.
I'm a big bossa nova guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love the pianist Evan.
Bill Evans?
Bill Evans.
Sure.
I love Bill Evans.
Yeah.
That's kind of my style.
Okay. I think that's great. I listen very regularly to hard bop. That is my era.
That's what you like?
Love.
That's hardcore.
You might be thinking bebop.
Bebop.
Bebop, super fast. Hard bop is like takes some of the elements of bebop and then throws in like kind of gospel harmonies and things like
interesting.
that.
Now, who's
yeah.
a good hard bop artist?
Horace Silver is probably my
I know
favorite.
Horace Silver. He was
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
He's a great composer.
Yeah, Sonny Rollins is another great
another
one.
legend. I didn't know that was hard bop. Interesting.
Yeah. I listen to all that. It's fun.
Wow.
I forgot you're a jazz guy.
I studied jazz in college, which was forever ago, and I was
I.
exposed to it. I jumped in,
Yeah.
very into it, and then after college, sort of stopped. So I was hit with everything, and I kind of forgot a lot of it. But I love it. I still love it.
I was a jazz studies and performance minor in college.
What was your main instrument?
Guitar.
Did I know that?
I don't know.
I feel like I would have known that if
Was
you had
yours
told me.
guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I love this.
That is crazy.
Here's my embarrassing question for you, and this is outing myself, and it's
Yeah.
fine. How often do you still play?
I don't play anymore.
Okay, so me either.
Yeah.
And I miss it every day.
I miss it too.
But I don't know. I don't know when I put it away and thought, I guess I'm like good for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. I've been dating Jess for 4.5 years. Okay. She's heard me play guitar once.
Jess. Yeah. Really?
One time. Once. Yeah.
Isn't that so sad?
Yes.
Well, here's why I stopped. I broke my finger playing basketball pickup.
Which finger?
My left pinky. It's my fretting hand.
Okay.
And I used that as the excuse. I probably naturally would have drifted away from it
Sure.
anyways, but that was sort of the sort of fork in the road for me.
Yeah.
But here's what I like to say to people who don't really I think people who do comedy and have a background in music understand this.
Sure.
I think that music is a harmonious thing. It's sort of it's you play melodies and there's rhythm, and it's something that sort of brings you to a calm peace.
Yeah.
Comedy is the opposite. It actually promotes conflict and tension, and you find humor in that release. So when you're playing those those flat fifth notes, you kind of get that tension.
Sure.
And you resolve on the chord tones and stuff like that. But in comedy, the resolution from the tension of the story that you're telling comes with the laughter from the audience.
But wouldn't that mean that they both resolve? So like, a diminished chord, which is, when you're talking about flat fives, if you this is so nerdy for people who don't understand this.
Which I haven't thought about this stuff in years.
No, neither have I. But
Yeah.
when you're thinking about resolutions in music, well, like 7 resolves to 8, 6
Right.
resolves to 5, 4 to 3, 2 to 1. Like all those different resolutions are pretty standard. Obviously, there are artists that resolve in I can't remember what the word is, but non-traditional ways.
Right.
But comedy does the same thing, where the joke needs the release. It's tension release. Music kind of does the same thing.
It's the same thing, except your instrument as a comedian includes the crowd.
Oh, you're playing the audience.
You're playing the audience.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
You bring it into a moment where the punchline, the release, it requires the audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
true.
So it's sort of like you're playing music in this strange environment, which, and that's the weird thing about music too, is music is something where in order to become a musician, you practice in private. You sit in your room and you practice, and
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
and you don't get to you don't have to show people what you've been working on until you're ready.
Yeah.
But in comedy, you learn by failing in public, and then you fail for years before you it's like Michelangelo carving a statue. Over time, it turns into something. It's like, oh, okay, now I see a figure. But you had to do that in front of people.
What I've explained to people about comedy is that like crafting a joke and also getting good at comedy, they both apply to this description. It's like having a block of marble and all you have to carve it down is a very, very low grade piece of sandpaper.
Yeah.
And you are just like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. And
Yeah.
hopefully one day, and 3 years later, you're like, okay, it started as a square and now I rounded some corners.
Right.
That's kind of neat.
Takes a long time.
So long. Yeah, with music, it's a little more interesting because, I was in a band from like 16 to 22 and we would practice constantly. So we were super tight when we would come out.
Right.
I play so fast and loose in comedy that I'm just like, hey, here's a premise.
Right.
People are like, and? I'm like, I don't have an and. I've got nothing for you.
Who was it? I think it was Bill Burr that said something that I remembered about how before you start doing stand-up comedy, you actually have a voice. And that's what draws you to the art form. You kind of already think you can do it. You watch comedy and you're like, that's great and I love this, but I think I can do this.
Oh, yeah.
It's because you already have something to say in your head and you're like, I just need to get on stage and do it. And then the moment you do it, the first time you stand on stage and do stand-up comedy, you lose that voice for 7 years.
Oh, God. I think that's probably true. I think that I suffer from, and I don't know if other people deal with this, I always want to say whatever is on my mind all the time.
Okay.
Not just on stage, but like, like I'll be sitting somewhere with somebody and I'll have a weird fleeting thought and I will just let it spill right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, who invented the doorknob?
Yeah.
Because it's in my head.
I'm glad those thoughts are in your head, not other thoughts.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, everyone has intrusive thoughts.
Right.
The ones that freak me out for me, I don't have the intrusive thoughts like, hey, what if I push someone in front of a car? My thing is like, and I wonder if you ever experienced this. If I'm on like a really tall building and I'm standing on the rooftop, if I'm too close to the edge, I immediately think, oh, this is terrifying. I could easily just throw myself right off this building. I'm not depressed.
Right.
But I'm just like, I think about that. I go, yikes. And then I step away because I'm too scared.
I think that's normal. I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
Well, do you think about the consequence? You're like, such a minor move on my part could result in such a drastic outcome.
Yeah.
I could take one step too far and then splat.
Oh. And the other thing that none of us think about, and I swear I'll get us off this topic in a second, but the other thing that I makes me think about is like, if I do that, it's not just me I affect, it's everyone who sees it. That's lifelong trauma for everybody.
That's nice of you to consider their feelings.
I'm very considerate. I never used to play Pokemon, but I do. I think that people collect Pokemon or something like that. I think everyone's going to get so upset who plays Pokemon and listens to this.
Yeah.
But I think you collect them. For me, I think as we're getting older now, I'm in my 30s. I'm like, we're all just collecting trauma. I mean, we're just like taking little cards, and I just like, hey, how's my trauma deck's pretty cool, and then someone else is like, my trauma deck's cool, and then we just like look at each other's decks and have a laugh.
What do you mean trauma? It's
like it kind of anything. I got in a car accident last year, right?
Oh,
like,
you're saying your Pokemon collection is no longer a game of cards, a game. It's your actual experiences in life.
Right. As you get older, you're just collecting different little pieces
you're just
of trauma.
carrying around your baggage blob. And here's
when I was like getting into a relationship, and we talk about this stuff all the time, but like when I was getting into a relationship, my first thought was like, getting into a relationship is just finding someone whose baggage is suitable for you.
Right.
You're not going to find someone without it. So it's kind of like, hey, oh, you know what? My trunk actually really nicely fits your baggage and my baggage.
That's a nice way to see it.
My emotional trunk.
Yeah. And I'm glad you found somebody with a nice trunk.
Yeah. It sounds like I was just like throwing someone in my trunk.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we don't, and we can easily cut this if you don't want to talk about it, but like as someone who's kind of like venturing into a potential relationship, do you clock in your head now that you're older, like, what baggage am I bringing? What baggage is this person bringing? Like, does this mesh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, and well, I just told you I just met a girl in Europe. And so anyways,
which is such a cool sentence. Like when if you said that to me in high school, I would have been like, can I meet a girl in Europe?
Yeah,
I want to do that.
I know it's a fun thing to do. I highly recommend meeting a girl in Europe.
Okay, well, I already I found a girl. Maybe I'll just send her to Europe and then I'll accidentally meet her there.
Yeah, you should. It feels better that way.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Especially the places you went to. You went to Rome.
I know, but I went with a girl.
Yeah,
and then proposed to said girl.
That's incredible.
In Europe.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But wait, no, I want to hear what you were going to say. So you met a girl in Europe.
Yeah, so I just got back from Europe. And what was the question?
I was saying, because now you're a little older, a little wiser, when you're getting into something, any kind of romantic entanglement, do you think to yourself, what kind of baggage do I bring? What baggage do they bring? What am I comfortable with? What am I not comfortable with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a guy who's been single for a while, I've had a lot of different experiences, and in the past, I think I just wanted fun, and I just wanted to have a good time.
Yeah.
And not really think about the consequences in terms of like, well, you'd always think about it. Now, when you were seeing a girl 10 years ago, would you ever think, I could see myself with her, or I couldn't, or would you not even go there? It would just be
I didn't go there.
Yeah, I think I always it's a thought I'm just like, yeah, maybe, but I would never think, yeah, maybe this baggage would fit in my trunk. It'd be like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna fit. But I'd be like, let me keep riding this thing out, until it's disaster.
Until a disaster. I remember you and I had many a late night sitting in the green room together, and what we would talk about was that neither of us at the time had great radar for who was going to be a healthy addition to our lives and who wasn't.
Oh, I've always been bad at that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Until I think that you're bad until you're not bad. You're bad until you find the person.
Right.
But obviously some people are better at it than others. But like, yes, you and I both bonded over the fact that we were terrible.
Yeah.
I would meet someone and be like, they seem cool. And my buddy would be like, why? I'm like, I don't know. And then just ignoring all the red flags right in front of me.
Well, we also live in LA, which is the culture, dating culture here is maybe a little bit different than other places. Let's not be, let's not be naive. It is.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I'm a superficial guy. I like hot girls.
Okay.
That typically is like it's like a one-hit wonder. It's like that's all you got. You know what I mean?
They're like Chumbawamba.
I don't want to be a jerk. I mean, that's not true. Always. I mean, there's a lot of hot girls who have a lot of other great things that offer. But in LA, a lot of times you kind of ride that quality, and then you forget to build the other foundation. And, and then people sort of have an opportunistic outlook when it comes to career, and they bring that into dating as well. So you just end up really dating a hot girl who's just, not interested in building something with you, maybe, and you're not, don't have the tools for a relationship either. So, you just sort of I don't know. It's not really a healthy thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both spent like years not being in a healthy thing.
Right.
Because I think that and I think comedy is the same way. You can do any of these things, whether it's dating, doing comedy, pursuing whatever anyone's dream is. You could spend your time doing these things in a healthy way with that you've thought through pretty thoroughly, with like a really like nicely like coiffed outcome in your brain, or you could pretty much play fast and loose. The equivalent of like if you get too drunk and like walk down a really busy street in New York City. It's like you're kind of just bouncing from place to place. You're spinning, you're moving, you're bopping. You don't know what street you're on, what corner you're at. You're kind of just like, this seems cool. And that's kind of like what, I did that in relationships for a while. I think in comedy sometimes I feel like I'm doing that.
Yep. And then you see a guy doing that. You're like, oh, that's cool. But then like, he's almost 40. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you what do you think is the acceptable age to still be doing that up until?
Romantically or comedically?
Romantically.
I mean, once you're getting toward 40, I think you gotta, I'm not saying you have to settle down, but I think you need to maybe start figuring out what it is you're looking for. And if you're just looking to go crazy and bounce around like I started thinking about that like carnival ride, that G-force thing where it just like pushes you against the wall and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think you can only do that for so long. If that's your goal, fine. But like if it's not, you probably want to wrap it up as you're approaching 40.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. It's like it's been great and for so long and it's served you so well, but then you turn 40 and all of a sudden now my friend I don't know if he made it, but he told me about an acronym. It's called, you don't want to be a WAG, which is a weird alone guy.
That's amazing. I'm scared that I was a WAG for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, between 35 to 40, it's like you're in WAG territory.
Listen, I met Jess at 32, I think I was. So I'm safe from the WAG zone.
Yeah.
But I do think there was like, in 2016, I was, how, I don't know if you view it this way. I think I have up years and down years. In 2016, I was having a down year. Okay. I watched, and this is not an exaggeration, I watched 162 movies.
I thought you were going to say minutes of porn.
No. I had a worse problem, a much lengthier time problem, which was watching films. I watched 162 movies. in 2016. Now, at the time, it didn't feel crazy. Looking back, I'm like, oh my God. Like, when I was on the dating scene, if I was like, they're like, hey, what'd you do? I was like, watched 4 movies yesterday. If I was sitting across from me, I'd be like, you're a wag.
Yeah.
You weird alone guy.
Watching so many movies.
Yeah.
I think it's a socially unacceptable amount of movies to be watching.
162 in a year. I don't know what the right number is. I mean, I love movies.
Yeah.
So, like, it's tough for me. On my low years, I probably watch 100.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm not a big movie watcher.
Really?
I don't want. Well, I recently started catching up on like classics I've missed.
Are we talking classics like Beauty and the Beast or classics like The Godfather?
No, like I've seen The Godfather, but movies like The Godfather. Like I just saw The Fighter. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible movie.
Great movie.
Blew my mind. I was
Yeah.
like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, Christian Bale.
One of the best Christian Bale performances I've ever seen. Now, granted, I'm not a movie guy, but
But I think he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for The Fighter.
Really? He
Yeah.
did?
I think it's a David O. Russell. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
okay.
What is another one? Sorry, we don't have to go into movie talk, but I am just curious.
What else did I see recently that was incredible?
yeah.
I mean, I saw Interstellar like not too long ago.
Oh, so you hadn't seen that before?
Never saw that.
Yeah.
You know, pretty intense.
Sure.
I like space movies.
Interesting. You
Yeah.
like space movies.
I do. It's the only type of movie that I typically end up crying in.
Oh, I'll cry. I cry all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard.
I'm a
I can't
big crier.
cry.
You don't cry?
I try sometimes.
Interesting.
It comes out weird. I cough. I can't cry.
Hold on. Hold on. You go to cry, and then you're like, maybe it might just be a cough.
I'm just pushing, and then I just.
But you're trying to cry.
Sometimes I'm like, come on.
Have you? You're like, I need to get the tear out. Have you ever done acting classes?
I just recently did it for the first time last year.
Okay. What was it?
It was at Anthony Meindl
Okay.
workshop.
I don't know him, but
Yeah.
Was it a type? For example, like I did a Meisner intensive for 2 years.
Yeah, gosh, I forgot. I think it was. I don't think it was a specific type, but I think maybe it was like a Meisner. You know, we didn't have to memorize the script. It was always like you'd have to read it and do the scene as if it was the first time you're seeing the line. That was the type. I liked it because it was lazy. I didn't have to go memorize. You just show up with the script, and then you act, and then you go based off of your real emotion.
Well, I think like the reason I brought that up is only to say that like I think I was always a crier. I think that acting class put me even more in touch with my emotions.
Yeah.
I could cry when the wind blows, man. Like
Really?
I'm a very emotional guy. Like
Wow.
When Jess told me that like she was really working towards something and she accomplished it. She got an email that she accomplished it. She goes, "Oh my God, I did it." I started to cry. I was like, "I am so proud of you." And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm just so proud." I cry. Like
Did you both cry during the engagement?
Nope. I cried during the engagement. She did not cry.
Only you did.
Yep. I'm on one knee and I'm like,
Tear
for
it
the
up.
longest. Like couldn't even get it out. I mean, we got out like 3 sentences, and then I was just like,
But you probably feel great. It's got to be a great release. Girls love crying because it's a release.
I love crying too. Into it. I think I've said this before, but I really do believe this. I think that everything that like men claim is like too feminine or whatever are the greatest things. Like crying, phenomenal.
What else is another one?
Oh my God, pedicures.
Oh, I've never done that either.
You've never gotten a pedicure.
I've never got. I should get one.
Oh man, it'll change your life. Like I genuinely.
Wow.
I used to talk about this on stage. I don't do it much anymore, but Jess asked me if I wanted to get a pedicure, and I was like, pass. And she's like, "Will you just walk me there?" I was like, fine. I go, and she's like, and the woman at the front goes, would you like a pedicure? And I was like, no. And she goes, "Would you want to look at the menu?" I'm like, not really. And she hands me the menu. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to want to, I'm sorry, you get a glass of champagne? She's like, yeah. And I was like, included. She's like, yeah. And I was like, and a foot, leg, and shoulder massage? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, and you sit in the massage chair. And I was like, huh? And she goes, yeah, and we'll just kind of, come by.
Sounds
and
amazing.
yeah, they did a paraffin wax thing on my feet
Wow.
where they put my feet in hot wax. It felt so good.
Oh,
And I was just like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm telling you, dude, I think that cost me $40.
wow.
Worth every penny.
I would see. Yeah, I love massages.
That's what you get, dude. No one talks about this. Pedicure is not just like them messing with your nails or whatever. They massage your calves and your legs. Then if you pay like an extra like $5, $10, someone comes over and massages your shoulders for 20 minutes.
Ooh.
It's amazing.
Wow. Okay, so pedicures, you cry. What else?
Yeah, I love a good scented candle. I don't know why men
Oh,
don't
I
do
do
that.
too. I do too.
Yeah, why aren't men doing that more often?
Yeah, I got a pile of them at home.
As well, you should.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
They're great.
Like,
Okay.
all the decor in this house,
Hey,
the plants.
I think we're chicks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, but if we could be so lucky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One time, a buddy said to me, he just had a kid, a very cute boy, and he was just, as a joke, he goes, "I feel like, man, if you could carry a baby, you would." And I was like, "You're kidding, but for sure, dude."
No, I would not want.
You wouldn't want to create life? What a joy!
I'd like to be in support of someone who does, as I am, but yeah, I don't know if I'd want my body.
Are you supporting someone who's pregnant right now?
No, I'm just saying, as I naturally, like as a man.
Yeah.
We put the seed in, and then we're just there in case you need something.
I'm going to be honest. If you're coming up with mottos for men, I don't know that's one we want to run with. We put the seed in, and then we're there.
Yeah. And then we're hopefully there.
Then we're hopefully, that's
people,
I mean, that's
some
certainly
people
true.
aren't, but yeah.
By the way, this feels like as good a time as any to go to our first segment. Are you
Oh,
ready
yeah,
for the Newly Friend game?
Yeah, let's go.
It's like the newlywed game, but we're friends.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like we may have a child together. So if you
Yeah.
want to grab your board, so the way this game
board.
works is I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You're going to write down your answer. You're not going to say it out loud.
Okay.
And then I'm going to write down what I think your answer is. And then we're going to flip and see if we get it right. And then we'll do the same thing for me.
Okay.
So for this question, and remember, I'm going to ask you, don't tell me your answer, write it down. One thing that we have talked about a lot is that in comedy, you have done a bunch of casinos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right. So my question for you, and don't say it out loud, write it down. What is your go-to casino game? All right, you ready to flip your board on 3? 1, 2, 3, flip.
You got it.
Hey,
Hey.
Amir's going blackjack. We
Now,
both said blackjack.
Why did you think it was blackjack?
Because I don't think you're going to do something that is much more chance focused. I think you're going to do the thing that gives you the best odds of winning, because I don't think you're just there for entertainment. You want to see if you can beat the system. Am I right?
That's great. I love that read. It's probably very, very true, accurate. I like blackjack because, one, the rules are easy to understand.
That's true.
Although, if you really want to be like a math guy, card counting is a fascinating thing. I've never been that type of person, but
Yeah.
but the level of memorization and sort of mental gymnastics and math that goes into that, I think I have respect for that.
Do you here's the thing. So I know the basics of blackjack, right? I can do, hypothetically, okay, hit at 16, stay at 17.
Yeah.
I think you split tens.
Yeah, I think you split two cards of the same. Yeah.
But when do you know when to split and when not to split?
So there's a lot of technique. I am not the best blackjack player, but I've had a pretty good, knock on wood, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Right here. I don't know.
Oh boy.
I've had some pretty good, a good record.
Would you say that you're up?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. But here's the thing: is I know when to walk away.
Yeah.
You walk away after a few wins. That's when people go, I think I'm going to win a lot more than just this. And then they lose everything and then more.
Well, you need to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah. I like doing that. I come in, win a few. Thank you guys. Have a nice night.
Do you have a thing where you're like, I'm gonna take $100. That is all I'm gonna use.
Yep.
I'm not gonna ever add more if I lose it, and I'm just gonna ride this out. And if I make more, cool it. If I lose 100, fine.
Yeah.
That's how you do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have
Have you ever made a big killing,
No.
turn the 100 into 1,000 kind
I
of
don't think
vibe?
I ever would, because I don't even know if I'd ever go that long. After a few wins, I walk away.
You're literally talking about a few minutes and you're out.
Yeah, sometimes I'll play 2 games if I win 2 big ones, and I'm like, that's it for the whole weekend. I know most people don't do that.
Oh my God.
I know.
Okay, we're gonna do the same question for me. So you can erase. Yep, that's why I put it there. Love that you saw that.
Right. I didn't see it.
So the same question for me,
Okay.
and write it down. Don't say your answer out loud.
So-
What is my go-to casino game?
Casino game.
Yeah.
And it's not the same.
I mean, listen, it could be. I
Okay.
can't tell you anything.
Okay.
Okay, you got your answer?
Yes, I do.
All right, flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you went roulette.
I was gonna do craps.
I said craps. So here's the thing. Craps, I just think, is the most fun. It's like a nonstop party.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest. The most amount of money I've ever lost in the shortest amount of time was playing craps. I lost about $600 in maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
Which was not pleasant.
Yeah, no, that not fun.
Now, I ended up winning a fair bit of it back.
Yeah.
The next night, but like I really got into some problems as far as that went. Now, under it, I wrote slots are crazy, and I will tell you why. I completely understand that slots are not a good play. I understand that.
Yeah.
Logically, I get that. Totally get it. Jess has, I cannot begin to explain how or why, has a unique ability to crush in the slots arena.
Really?
Yeah, I was with her once and she walked away with $2,000. I mean, another time I was with her, yeah.
Slots are usually low impact.
Another time I was with her, she walked away with $1,100. She walks away with regularly with about $300-400 each time.
Wow.
It's insane. She has two different games, slot games that she believes in more than others.
Okay.
Plays those, wins.
What are they?
It's called 88 Fortunes.
Okay.
And Bang the Drums, I think, is another one, which is just a variation of 88 Fortunes.
Okay, interesting.
I'm telling you, her and I were at, I'm trying to remember what casino it was. It was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won $1,800.
Damn, paid for the trip?
Unfortunately, we then had to pay for everybody's dinner. But, listen, I was happy to pay for everyone's dinner. I just mean it wasn't enough to pay for everyone's dinner and the trip.
Yeah.
But, like, holy crap.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How cool is it when you go to Vegas and then you walk out with more money?
Cash positive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rare.
It's rare, but I mean, whenever you do make money walking out of a casino, that's awesome.
Are you a Vegas guy?
I sometimes love Vegas, sometimes more frequently hate Vegas.
Do you go a lot?
I've been quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I sometimes love it, especially when I'm more in tune with the history of it. I like the Rat Pack thing.
Oh, got it.
I love the thinking about where Sinatra used to hang, the
Sure.
Bellagio, doing this, the class that he brought into it with his
yeah.
group. I think that's fun and cool, and just if tapping into that mood feels great. But sometimes you're there and it's hot and it's touristy and everything's expensive. And then everyone's sweating, and that sucks.
It feels like being in Times Square extended.
In the desert.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what if we took Times Square and we made it 10 times bigger with all the same number of tourists?
Yeah.
In every square foot of it, and then we made it really, really hot during the day and cold at night.
Yeah. Miserable.
No, Vegas
crazy.
has never like rocked my world. I am more of someone where like if I am gonna take like a 48-hour vacation or a 72-hour vacation, I want to be on a beach. Give me a beach. Give me some tableside guac.
Okay.
Give me a margarita.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a pina colada. Maybe a Miami Vice.
That is the best. A quick all-inclusive in Cabo.
Excellent.
That's the
Send
best.
me there tomorrow.
That is the best vacation.
I'm ready to go now.
And we've both been to, cultural places in Europe and stuff like that. And they're awesome.
Love them.
Some places are. I saw this one place. The guy was like, "This is from 803." I was like, 1803. He goes 803. I go, are you serious?
Like, hey, you for real?
Christ used to come here for coffee. I'm like, well, yeah, it's crazy. Used to shop here.
This was Christ Starbucks.
Yeah.
It is so funny. And I'm kind of like trying to find a way to talk about this on stage, but going to Italy made me realize that like I never have to worry about copying anybody or doing something someone's already done, because the number of people that painted Jesus and Mary in Italy is like I saw a minimum of 100 paintings, the same exact pose of Jesus and Mary, and I'm like, cool, I can do a joke about airplanes if I want to, and it won't be as repetitive as those Jesus and Mary paintings.
Yeah. No, he was popular.
Yeah, was he? What a hot
popular.
take.
Yeah,
Jesus was popular.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Were you, when you visited, were you as big into the historical or cultural aspect?
I'm not a big museum guy, and sadly, I didn't get to see like the David in Florence, which is crazy because I don't know if you know this, but I sculpt. I just do 3D digital stuff.
I did not know that.
Really?
No.
Okay.
You sculpt?
I do 3D sculpting. Yeah.
Is 3D sculpt? What is 3D sculpting? I don't fully know what that
means. It's basically, digitalized version of traditional sculpting. So you start off with digital clay and polygons, and you can add to it.
Are you wearing like gloves?
No. You use a tablet. You use a tablet, and then you can, sculpt and 3D, package programs and stuff. And yeah, it's how you create characters on television, like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Stranger Things, they always usually have like characters or, that sort of thing.
How did you learn how to do that?
Well, it's a lot of self-taught, but I'm also I learned from a few like kind of mentor-like figures on the internet. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a passion of mine.
And you didn't see David?
Can you believe it? Well, it was a 3-hour wait. I was like, yeah.
Oh, you didn't get the fast pass?
I didn't know there was one.
There was. Yeah. We found some tour guide and like they had a fast pass. And so you kind of like, you make a reservation. Oh, you didn't have a reservation.
No.
You reserve and then you get in pretty quick.
Shoot. See, I'm kind of, it's like, I can't believe I was here and I didn't see it. I saw the church, which was incredible.
Yeah.
The big church. But, and I went to like a nice steak restaurant, stuff like that, but didn't see David.
Can I tell you, and this is a crazy thing. I do not know. I did not expect this to happen. I do not know why this happened.
Yeah.
I got incredibly emotional looking at that.
Of course you
sculpture.
did.
I almost cried.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't.
I came close.
Yeah, if there was one more scented candle in that room, you would have been tearing, bawling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. People talk a lot about Michelangelo. When I was in Italy, they were talking about how like he is, he was arrogant, but always felt underappreciated. He felt like an underdog and like this and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I'm Michelangelo. I am him.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Wow. You relate to him.
I relate to him a lot.
I like that he was a scientist. I mean, I like how all these geniuses, they're not geniuses in one realm.
They're everything.
Like Einstein. I mean, what a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
I just was reading the Walter Isaacson biography on that guy. It's so fascinating. I mean, so smart in not one field, but then he was also a great violin player. And then he also
Einstein was a good violin player?
I think he played violin, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He used to love it.
It is frustrating. These people just have a wealth of ability and talent.
Yeah.
I don't know
if he was the best violin player, but
he's probably pretty good if they
musician.
mentioned it. Sometimes I think I can't even walk up the stairs correctly. Like, it's crazy what these people were doing.
I know. But look at Elon. He's like a modern day sort of version. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing space. Now he's doing like some Neuralink stuff, satellites, cars.
Yeah, but if one talent is killing an entire company, he's great at that.
Yeah.
I think due to the way that social media works right now, you can see the fallibility of somebody. So the fact that we can see Elon Musk failing because it's on a much bigger stage. I'm sure that Albert Einstein or Michelangelo had things they were bad at, but we don't see them.
Right. Yeah, he was aloof, but at the time nobody really.
Yeah, Michelangelo was probably not good
not aloof,
at playing cards or something. I don't think cards existed then, but whatever existed that was fun. He was bad at ball in the cup.
You know what's interesting is I'm starting to see one common thread, at least one common thread between a lot of brilliant geniuses throughout time. And
beards.
No, not always.
I was kidding.
Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say, because I was thinking maybe Steve Jobs. No beard.
No beard.
A lot of these guys could focus intensely in the middle of noise. So, Elon, he would hear noise and family environment stuff, just focused on what he was doing. Einstein, dialed in, even though he had kids running around holding one kid, dialed in. Me, I get distracted. I'm ADD. I hear something, I got to turn. You know what I mean? These guys, they don't turn.
I think that's about as good a time as any to go to the lightning round. How do you feel? You want to jump in?
Yeah, let's
okay. So this is a lightning round. It's fast questions. It does not have to be fast answers.
Okay.
They're just the last 5 that we ask at every episode.
All right.
So question 1. What is a ritual of yours? So mine is brewing tea in the morning. I like to do that.
Yeah, coffee in the
morning. Coffee in the morning.
Coffee, immediately coffee.
Now, are we talking coffee pot, French press?
I do a walk. I go out, I buy the coffee.
Okay.
Come back with a cup.
What, okay, this might be a controversial question. Are you going to a local or are you going to a Starbucks?
So I live in a very busy area, a lot of different coffee options.
Okay.
I like to do a little rotation. I like premium coffee like Verve. There's a new place called Percent, one of my favorites.
Never
Only
heard of
one
that.
location in America. It's a Chinese company. I don't know what it is, but the best coffee I've ever had.
Okay, intriguing.
Very.
What is your coffee order? Just a black coffee?
I do black coffee. I do drip. I don't like Americanos. I mean, I'll have it if they have nothing else, but otherwise just drip. And I actually like Starbucks coffee. I'm a coffee insane person. I drink many cups a day.
Okay.
I love good coffee.
Talking like 6 cups?
Up to 6. I mean, I'll have a lot of coffee.
That's
It's crazy. I mean, it's nuts. I'll usually, do around 3 or 4.
Okay.
But I'm not a snob about it. If it's good coffee, it's good coffee. And I happen to fall into the category of I think Starbucks is good. And when I'm traveling, Starbucks is great. It feels like home.
So I will tell you, this is a true story. We had Morgan J on this pod.
Yeah.
And he said that when he is on tour, he only goes to Starbucks because he knows what he's going to get.
Yeah.
Because he knows there's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
The backlash that we got on this pod, like on social media, when that clip came out, you would not believe the number
I'll
of people.
fight those people because there is something to be said about that. Starbucks brings you home no matter where you are.
What do you work for them? That's a really good.
I am an active
slogan.
shareholder.
I knew it.
No, actually, I don't think I have them.
Question 2: What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
I have a friend from high school or from childhood, really, who he makes a weird noise, and so we do the noise every time we talk on the phone, which we still talk almost daily.
No way.
Yeah.
Where does he live?
Atlanta.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now, would you be willing to indulge us with what the noise is?
It's a weird noise, and I'm gonna give him complete. It's on him.
Yeah.
I didn't start this. He started this.
Okay.
And so he'll do this tall.
Tall? Do you just start a call with that? Or do you say it in the middle?
I'll call him and go, tall. Yeah, what's going on? Have you looked at the market today?
Oh, wow. Okay, so you can't use it mid. It's not a mid combo. It's an opener.
No, it's a mid combo and an ending combo thing.
What does it carry a meaning?
No.
Just kills time. It's
just,
like saying
Yeah, it's just
I'm like intrigued.
We have a lot of things from my high school that's more of his thing, but I still do it with him.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of things from my high school that we used to do all the time, all of us. We used to do this thing where we just go, "You're crazy.
You're crazy."
Yeah, but you go, "You're crazy."
What?
It's like, "You're crazy."
But
yeah.
you would say that to each other at any given moment.
Yeah, just be like, "Well, you're crazy."
Okay. Where
One time we got my history teacher to do it. She was like, "Say what?" And I was like, "Just say you crazy." She's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "No, say it like that." She goes, "You're crazy." We're like, "Yeah,
it was
Miss
close.
Yeah."
Where are you? I'm trying to remember. Are you a West Coaster or an East Coaster?
So I grew up in Atlanta.
You grew up in
Born and
Atlanta.
raised.
Okay,
Yeah,
you are. So he's still in Atlanta, but you grew up. You grew up ITP or OTP?
What's ITP?
Inside the perimeter.
Inside the perimeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I grew up in like Sandy Springs, Buckhead.
Okay.
Do you know that area?
Not at all.
Now it's technically Sandy Springs branched off, and now they're their own city.
Oh.
But at the time when I grew up there, it was inside Atlanta.
Love that.
I just went back for the first time in almost 12 years last weekend.
How was it?
Incredible. Except where I grew up, now they're like, you got to stay away. It's like dangerous.
I just love that you were like in Italy, like what, a week ago? Then you were also in Atlanta. Where do you not go?
Yeah. I was also in Barcelona.
You were in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Barcelona.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember why I call it Barcelona. Someone
Lolo.
called it that. I don't know who it was.
I like that.
That's fun. Were you also with the same lady in
No,
Barcelona?
I was there by myself.
I've never traveled alone.
Really?
I want to.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I want to.
I mean, for comedy, I'm sure you do.
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, I've never traveled abroad alone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's awesome. You kind of do whatever you want to do, and then you meet people.
Huh. I find that left to my own devices, I want to just cozy up in bed and watch a movie. So I feel like I would accidentally be antisocial if I traveled.
Oh man, I know, it's crazy. Benny Spiewak did that a year before me, and then I literally went almost a year after, and we both kind of had our own solo trip.
Yeah.
And we were there during a festival. We both went to the same festival 1 year apart.
I love Benny.
Yeah, he's
What
a
a
great
sweet
guy.
man.
I know.
Question 3. What is a controversial take that you have?
Oh, here we go. So we were just talking about Italy. First of all, what do they eat there? Everyone says it's the best. They eat pasta, pizza, bread, cheese, wine. ice cream gelato.
Gelato. Yeah.
It's an acid reflux nightmare.
Sure.
I wasn't wild about it. In fact, I actually like New York Italian food better than Italy Italian food.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the heart of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, I do think New York style. I'm sure you learned this already.
I'm not saying it's bad. It was delicious. I just threw up for a couple days.
You threw up?
Yeah.
Was it from overeating?
I don't know what it was from. I had a pizza. It was
Okay.
it was spicy. That night I threw up all over the beautiful Lake Como.
I love that. You're like, hey, Lake Como, I have something to deposit here. And it's not what you were hoping.
I gotta say, New York. I mean, you're from New York.
I am from New York.
It's the best food I've ever had. Bagels on another level.
Amazing.
I mean, it's insane. I love the bagels in New York. Love the coffee in New York. I love the Italian food in New York. I love all the food in New York, their version of it.
Yeah.
Italy was great, but man, something
Not
about
your
the-
favorite.
I asked for chicken parm. People looked at me like I'm French. What do
Yeah,
you mean
well-
chicken parm?
Jess loves what is it? Alfredo. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's an Alfredo here.
They don't have.
yeah.
I'm afraid no.
Yeah, I'm afraid no. Question 4. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one moment that really sticks out to you?
I'm sure. Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Of course. Yeah, and everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's not one moment of imposter syndrome that really was like, oh man, this is too real.
Not one moment, but almost every moment.
Every moment you're like, I don't belong. I haven't deserved this.
Until you don't anymore. Everything you start, you're kind of an imposter until you're not.
You know, here's what's interesting though. So this is gonna sound like I'm like throwing around names and I'm not trying to. I've interviewed multiple celebrities,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, like I interviewed Philippa Sue. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, so she was in the original cast of Hamilton. She's won a Tony. She's won a Grammy. She's done great. She's been an Emmy nominated, I believe, or Oscar, one of the two. I think Emmy nominated. I asked her if she still experiences imposter syndrome, and she said all the time.
Of course.
And I was just like, I don't think it goes away. I don't think it ever goes away.
I think it goes away when you become when you have this like almost like unrealistic feeling about yourself, like this ego kicks in, and you're like, I'm the fucking man.
Like Scorsese probably doesn't have imposter syndrome.
He probably doesn't. There's sometimes I feel like when you just nail it, you're like, yeah, I'm the best at this.
I'm the man.
Everyone else is an imposter. But I'm sure even Scorsese in the beginning had it. I'm sure everybody has it all the time. I mean, I have it across multiple different fields, not just comedy, also graphics. I mean, I had it as a musician when I was doing that.
I had it all the time.
Yeah, when you're around incredible musicians in college. What school did you go to?
It's called Wash U. It's in St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
USC.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt like I didn't belong here.
All right, question 5, final question. Typically, I say to people, what is your favorite tea or comfort? But I know you drink tea. What is your favorite tea?
Well, I brought some tea bags here, which I didn't realize we're doing all this fancy tea.
Listen, I'm going to drink those tea bags tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
so,
do you want to share what that brand is?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Persian.
Yeah.
Tea is a big part of our culture.
We love the Persians here.
Yeah. Big tea drinkers. And I drink that tea every night pretty much. It's called Sadaf. I feel like I'm promoting Starbucks and Sadaf here. It's just a Persian, Earl Grey. That's all it is. It's just, usually though, if you're a real, true tea drinker, and even in our culture, you're brewing the leaves, but I don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Tea bag. Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Let me know what you think.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
That was the pod. How do you feel?
Great.
There you go.
Yeah.
You crushed it.
Yeah?
Yes.
How was it? It was good?
It was everything I would have wanted.
Oh, that's the best.
That was Amir Kabiri. You can find him at Amir Kabiri on Instagram. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Elliot GB. Our associate editor is Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
One of the reasons I've never gotten a tattoo is because I'm scared, like, what if I wake up a year from now and that's not what I want on my skin? It's like, well, if you have a kid, you can't wake up a year from now and go, can I return this?
I think a kid weirdly might be easier to get rid of than a tattoo.
Go on. Yeah.